All right, everyone. Winter has come. Might not be able to see it. It's snowing in West Michigan now. So us Michiganders like to do some snowmobiling in the wintertime. And I grew up around snowmobiles. As you can see. It's one of my dad's favorite things. Always one of our favorite things to do in the wintertime. And this video, I take you to my dad's place. And I'm going to show you our snowmobiles. So we are particularly Polaris fans. We like our Polaris sleds. Just like machines, three-wheelers and everything, and quads. People like their Hondas, Yamahas, Suzukis, Kawasaki's. Same thing goes with snowmobiles. Everyone loves their Polaris, Arctic Cat, Skidoo, Yamahas. But we've always just enjoyed old Polaris sleds. You know, my dad and his buddies, they grew up snowmobiling for years and had many different sleds. And sleds come and go of what we ride. And this year's a little bit different. We've changed up our lineup this year. Previous years, I actually have one of my starting videos on YouTube. I don't have access to the account anymore, but it's a video about our two sleds when I started snowmobile and trail riding with my dad. It was a 1989 Polaris Indy 500. It had the twin cylinder, liquid cooled Fuji 500 motor in it. That was a fun sled. Ended up selling to Dylan, and then Dylan moved on and bought Nick's sled. And then my dad had a, technically to the VIN, 1996 Polaris. They had long names back in the 90s, but Polaris Indy XCR 600. And that had the 600 triple in it. It had the white body on it though, because it was almost new. It got in a wreck, and the guy that bought it was my dad's friend. He redid it all and put the white hood on it. Don't know why. It looks pretty cool though. The 96 is supposed to have the black hood. We had that sled for a while. One of our most favorite sleds. That thing never let us down. It was a fun, quick sled, but really heavy. If you guys know anything about Polaris sleds, those aggressive chassis sleds were really heavy, but they were powerful. After that, I ended up getting, it was a 2000 Polaris Indy 500. It was an XCSP 45th anniversary edition. Had that for a little bit, and then my dad ended up getting a Polaris Indy 500. Had the Ed suspension in it, the better suspension. After that, got rid of that red one, and my dad got another Indy 500. So we had twin matching sleds that we rode, and rode those for quite a bit. And we go to the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, quite a bit for snowmobiling. As far as a lot of riders out there know, they're backwoods riders, boondocking riders. All you guys do is go in the woods and go in the powder and hills and whatnot. Michigan, we got a lot of trails. We do have some areas where we go in the woods if you don't get caught, but a lot of trail riding in Michigan. There's thousands and thousands of miles of trails. The UP is one of the better spots. We get more snow up there, so all the way down to West Michigan, we gotta make the trip all the way up. You know, it can be between 3 to 8 hours, 10 hours away. So last year we ended up going to the Keweenaw Peninsula. My first time going up there. Boy, that was a whole lot of fun. Even though I'm a young gun still, my back can't take the low-sitting snowmobiles and the suspension, so I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to part ways with this snowmobile. Great round sled. Can't beat those liquid-cooled Indy 500s. After that trip, we ended up looking for some sleds, some newer ones, and we ended up picking up a 2009 IQ 600. Really nice sled. I'm going to show you guys in a minute that sled out in the trailer. Like I said, my family's been into snowmobiling, and my mom's uncle had a couple snowmobiles for quite a long time. We always knew that he had a Polaris Storm sitting in his barn, and never knew anything about it, just heard stories about it, until one day my dad went over to this barn, checked it out, and there it was sitting on top of the trailer, the same trailer that we used to haul wood on at deer camp this past year. And on the trailer was a 1996 Polaris 800 Storm. Yes, it's 800 triple. And then right next to it, I'll show you right here, it's in the garage. And this was next to it. A 1984 Polaris Indy 600. And not just any Indy 600.
Holy shit!
600 triple. Gotta love them triples. So, a lot of you Polaris guys might know what this sled is all about when they first came out. Some of you may not. This is the second year of the Polaris Indy 600 triple. The first year that they came out with a 600 triple is 1983, but it was not oil injected. And shout out to Nutter Speed Shop on YouTube. He has been helping a lot with some information on these sleds. He actually has an 83 Indy 600. And also shout out to Todd Klein. He's another guy that's great with snowmobile information, especially on the older Polaris snowmobiles. Really cool channel, really cool guy to watch.
Hey, what's up, my 11 YouTube friends?
This sled is the first year of the oil-injected 600 triple. As you guys may see, you guys are familiar with like the wedge style Polaris 90 snowmobiles. This is like the first generation kind of. The body's a little bit different. It's got kind of this cupped lip in the hood. The front is not supposed to have a bumper. You can get a bumper for it. So it looks kind of cool without the bumper like that. IFS independent front suspension on it. And pretty much zero suspension in the rear. But, so you guys can tell, look at these colors. Tell me that doesn't scream 1984, or at least the 1980s. You got that gold and blue, and look at the skid. The skid is still gold. It's got that blue Hyfax on there, the decals. So this was the top of the line sled. This was the #1 sled when it came out in 1984. This surpassed every other sled out in the market. She is beat up, so my mom's uncle, my great uncle, bought this brand new in '84, and it's had it ever since. And it's been up north quite a bit. 1,600 original miles. So my dad was geeked about this sled when he saw it in the trailer, and he ended up taking the package home. So it was both sleds in the trailer. He ended up cleaning up that 800 Storm and selling it. And so this is going to be our fun sled. This is going to be our fun lake sled. We're going to try to get it running. We have yet to get it running. We got to pop the carburetors off and go through it all. And it hasn't ran in 10 years, and the Storm was the same way. It was sitting for 10 to 12 years on the trailer. And there you go. The 600 triple cylinder. We got these Mikuni carbs on them. We're going to take them off and clean them up. Looking pretty crusty and old. Alright, so I showed you guys that sled. Let's take a ride out to the trailer, and I'll show you the two other sleds. This is my dad's 2001 Indy 500. Really nice, clean, original sled. This was actually purchased up at Spicer's up in Halton Lake. It was brand new. Still got the original track on it. If you guys are ever wondering if you're storing things outside or in barns or trailers or whatever, Irish Spring soap as well as dryer sheets help to keep mice out. This trailer is pretty sealed tight for the summertime, but we just want to make sure we don't want to get anything inside. So you're gonna be wondering, why does it say XCR? My dad likes to get a little creative, and he likes the cool vintage style stuff, and he loved the XCR that he had, so he ended up taking the Indy 500 off XCR, and he's got the 500 sticker right there. So kind of looks cool from far away, and it kind of throws people off. It's got 1,700 original miles, rebuilt motor. What's common on these snowmobiles is they have the flat slide carbs, and there's a weak point in the carb slides. I don't have my dad here to talk about it, but there is a weak point in those flat slide carbs where the bottom corners will chip off, and you'll get a piece going into the cylinder. It'll wreck the cylinder, and it's pretty much what happened to this guy. Also, a common issue with snowmobiles mainly is the crankshaft seal going out. So it's a pretty clean Indy 500, liquid cooled 2-cylinder. And then we got this beast. So this is the 2009 IQ 600. And as you can see, like I talked about, my dad likes the vintage looks. So those like the old Polaris TXLs. If you guys remember those sleds. So it's got ride effect shocks on it. Got some new plastic skis on it with the red loops. Got a new bumper on the front. We put the hand guards on there. Ended up finding a cool, pretty much brand new cover for it. Original cover. We ended up restudding the track. You can see that decal package. It's got the decals that go along the tunnel there. It's got the cool, we ended up looking at a different sled, and it had the seat where it's got the big tail light on the rear, but I like this like kind of racing style seat. It's got the bars and you got the bag on the back side of it. We did go through the rear suspension. Shocks are rebuilt, new bearings in the wheels, new high facts. Another one that was, so this one was pretty much old lady ridden. Old couple bought it brand new. This one was old lady ridden as well. Pretty different compared to this thing where it's a lot of manual stuff. This one's really digital. So this one's got reverse electric start. It's got the digital gauge on there with the speedometer as well. You can actually change on the speedometer where instead of doing the miles per hour, it will show up on the digital part, and this will show your RPMs. We're going to attempt to get this thing running. It's getting cold. As you can see, it's snowing out. About that time, let's get them running and see if they'll start up. It hasn't rained in the springtime since we put them away. My dad's already had this one started up. And we'll work on getting this thing. There you go, Dad, she lives. Woo! Gotta love the smell of two-stroke. Oh. Bring on the snow, boys! All right, it runs. It's a good sign. Now let's get some snow dumped on us and we go over for a real ride. I only really rode this thing around in the front yard when we had some snow banks left, and that's about it. So, hoping this thing is gonna do good this year. All right, well, put the cover back on the trailer and go in the garage and start tearing into the ND600.